Lone refugee children in UK Home Office operated hotels grapple with pressing issues, experiencing psychological distress in unfamiliar surroundings, and encountering barriers to essential services like healthcare and education. They face discrimination fueled by stereotypes, depicting them as draining resources and security concerns, despite being refugees seeking safety. The complexities of their situations, influenced by factors such as age, gender, ethnicity, religion, gender identity, disability, and economic background, demand a nuanced approach to address their unique needs.
Follow the story of a young refugee boy navigating the complexity of his unfamiliar surroundings in one of the UK's home-operated hotels. A lone boy, having fled from danger and seeking refuge in an unknown territory, sits on the edge of his cold, borrowed bed, clutching a stuffed animal in his small arms while he stares into space. His shared room is eerily quiet, except for the distant sounds of the city outside. In the heart of the city, where lights flicker and dreams take flight, there exists a world unseen. A world where lone refugee children seek refuge, but find themselves trapped in ensnared solitude and bound. In the silence of the night, the dangers facing the lone child become more pronounced, where new fears lurk in the shadows of their temporary refuge. The lone refugee child cautiously navigates the hotel corridor, where loitering security guards cast menacing glances at the vulnerable child. The child tries to blend in with the bustling crowd outside the hotel. A seemingly kind figure approaches him, offering help with a hidden agenda. Predators masquerade as saviors, displaying a mask of affection, but preying on the desperation of these children behind their backs, promising safety, but only delivering despair. The boy receives an unsolicited message on a borrowed phone. The message contains inappropriate content, leaving the child visibly distressed. The digital world, once a source of brief entertainment, becomes a breeding ground for online harassment and exploitation. Their innocence is shattered with every indecent image. The child hesitates for the rations, hunger evident in his eyes. He is pushed aside by other starved children, forced to wait for the dingy scraps of unfamiliar food, eyeing it hungrily but afraid to draw attention. Hunger becomes a relentless companion. The dining area, once a place of sustenance, now serves humiliation on a plate. His stomach aches, but his pride keeps his belly empty. Even basic necessities are a luxury. Hunger gnaws at him, but the fear of humiliation and judgment continues his discomfort. The boy sits in a corner, watching as others socialize. He tries to join a group, but the children mock and exclude him. Leaving the child isolated, loneliness becomes his closest friend. Laughter and camaraderie, once part of his world, are now distant melodies that only accentuate his solitude. The boy lies awake, unable to sleep due to the sounds of chaos, reminding him of the illusion of his safety and the false security of the hotel walls. Sirens wail, reminding him of the dangers lurking in the distance. His innocence, once his shield, now makes him tragically vulnerable. The lone boy awakens determination in his eyes, despite the fears, will reach out, guiding him to safety. Though this is a story of fiction, this is the sad reality for thousands of children forced to flee into unknown territories.
Among 100 organisations calling on the government to stop putting unaccompanied underage asylum seekers at risk in government-run hotels.
Vulnerable children are being dumped by the Home Office.
600 unaccompanied children have passed through this Brighton hotel being run by the Home Office.
The Home Office has been placing thousands of lone children in hotels, and despite it being perceived as unlawful, a large number of these children have gone missing, with many unaccounted for. Kent County Council has stated that it cannot cope with the number of children arriving and warned that they were struggling to meet their legal obligations to the UK, as well as asylum seeker children. This has consequently resulted in a legal battle between the Home Office and Kent County, who legally have responsibility over the children. A HM Inspectorate of Prisons visited the KIU in September and found that children were held for far too long and often overnight in facilities with no access to the open air and little or no natural light. More than a quarter of unaccompanied children were held for more than 24 hours, with one 15-year-old boy held for more than 66 hours. The result of a shortage in designated accommodations and security staff allowed for the operation of further Home Office operated hotels. Consequently, the number of risks posed to children increased. Not only are the staff working amongst the children, the children's unstable level of safety is further bolstered by the hostile political climate around refugees in the UK, where the unaccompanied minors face discrimination and violence.
A 12-year-old boy is still missing after disappearing from a Home Office-provided hotel, which was housing child asylum seekers who'd crossed the Channel alone.
Separated children are therefore at a greater risk of facing situations such as forced labor, sexual and physical violence, torture, enforced detention, and child trafficking, a modern form of slavery and a global human rights violation. Unaccompanied minor refugees are often viewed as easy targets for kidnappers due to their vulnerability and exploiting their feelings of isolation and confusion. Their vulnerability is further exposed through a lack of a stable support system, legal protection, or the means to defend themselves. Which is why it is important to understand their intersectionality, our positionality, and how our positionality can be used as a tool to try and better comprehend their experiences.
Racism in migration studies, illustrated by the dual nature of Islamophobia, grapples with challenges. The coloniality of power concept highlights race as a pervasive factor intersecting class, sexuality, and gender in imperial societies. Black feminists introduce intersectionality to navigate the complex interplay of race, class, sexuality, and gender in different zones. Despite formal independence, enduring global hierarchies from colonial expansion persist, impacting the contemporary world. Stereotypes affect refugee children, making them vulnerable to abuse, neglect, and exploitation. Special protection is vital to address their specific needs and risks, such as mental and physical health, disability, and gender non-conformity. Displacement may compel children to assume new roles, risking exploitation and harmful coping strategies. Loss of significant relationships affects attachment behaviors, hindering trust and healthy development.
In the complex world of vulnerable refugee children in Home Office-operated hotels, positionality is crucial. Culture and aesthetic backgrounds shape their journeys, influencing understanding and perceptions. Social workers in diverse roles, from child protection to navigating immigration process, adapt to the imminent dangers these children face. Government officials' decisions directly impact well-being, while NGOs and advocates navigate bureaucratic challenges. The children themselves, often wealthiest and vulnerable, require solutions prioritizing their well-being. Recognizing the interplay of our social positions is crucial for crafting equitable solutions to their pressing challenges.
Some recommendations to improve the children's lives would be regular mental health checks, NGO collaborations, staff training on exploitation awareness, confidential child reporting channels, community integration initiatives, independent quality inspections, and rights awareness campaigns.